Welcome to the Elite Eight of the Best Take bracket. And you've stayed with us. You've stayed faithful. And here we go. We've changed it up a little bit this round. So each matchup's a little different topics, different categories. Kyle Wilson's going to give us his take for Isaiah Thomas and how Isaiah could play in today's NBA game. And then also Blair Gropeck is going to be giving us a take on Peyton Manning and how Peyton Manning could play back in the 80s. So here we have it. It's 90 seconds on the clock. Kyle, how you feeling? You know, you've given a take on Isaiah before. How you feeling about this?
Well, I feel better about this one than the last one because the last one was basically saying why he shouldn't move on, and I just think he's a great player and, you know, so timely to be talking about him. Obviously, I'm assuming everyone that would watch this is watching The Last Dance, and last weekend and the shade being thrown back and forth into this week with the Pistons and the Bulls and Isaiah and Jordan. So yeah, it's good. It's gonna be fun.
It's the only hope Pistons and Bulls fans have because their current teams are absolutely atrocious. So we're just clinging on. We're just clinging on to the past like crazy. It has been fun. And I would just put a little plug in. There is a really good 30 for 30 called Bad Boys. So if you want to hear the other side of the story, the truthful side of the story that's not manipulated by Nike or MJ, I would recommend that you go check out that ESPN doc. Just throwing it out there.
Right.
It's, you know, you can find it on your local Netflix and ESPN Pluses and all that stuff. So yeah, go check it out. But here we go. 90 seconds, Kyle, on why Isaiah Thomas could play in today's NBA. In 3, 2, 1, begin.
All right, so I think the biggest issue with Isaiah Thomas is his three-point shooting percentage. Let's just start with his one weakness right off the bat. And I think everyone that watches the NBA today realizes that it's about three-point shooting, right? Steph Curry has changed the game. Everyone wants to shoot three-point shots. Kids are practicing. So Isaiah Thomas was not a great three-point shooter, but I tell you what he was great at, right? He was great at defense, and he was great at passing the ball, right? His assist rate is phenomenal. He's one of only a handful of NBA players to have over 9,000 assists in his career. So you put him on a team, any team in the NBA today, and I think he's able to play on the pure fact that he's going to be able to dish the ball to the other shooters, right? Get him on the Miami Heat with my man Duncan Robinson, and he is going to have 15 assists a game, right? Because Duncan Robinson is on fire before the coronavirus ruined everything. He could take it to the rim as well, right? So not only can he assist, but to get those assists, to create those shots, he's going to have to take it to the rim. And he was going up against Magic Johnson, right? So Ben Simmons and Magic Johnson, similar heights, and Magic Johnson's a better all-around player, and he's able to defeat Magic Johnson in the playoffs. He got better as the playoffs, as the season progressed and into the playoffs. If you put him on a team today, you think about the Wizards have Ish Smith. He's starting over him. He's going to start on the Hornets. He's going to start maybe even on the Lakers and be able to dish it because, you know, Quinn Cook, Rajon Rondo are not as good as him.
And time. There we go. There you have it. 90 seconds, man. It's hard to cram it all in. But the one thing, too, about Isaiah Thomas, you know, he's just a winner, right? Like, he's just a winner. How do you argue with titles, right?
That's
so
right.
All you Bulls fans out there, MJ's the GOAT. I'm not gonna, you know, go on too much of a tirade there. He's the GOAT. But I will just tell you, before there was MJ, there was Isaiah.
That's right.
I've got my buddy Blair Gropeck today. Blair, who are you giving your take for today?
Peyton Manning.
The beloved Peyton Manning. Blair's going to be getting a 90-second take on why Peyton Manning could play back in the 80s and why he could play in that different era as a quarterback and how he, you know, impacted the game and the position even at a time in that era. So we've got 90 seconds, Blair Gropeck, on why Peyton Manning could translate into that era in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right, Peyton Manning, the greatest regular season quarterback of all time, fantasy juggernaut, the king of audible and no-huddle offense. He basically invented it. I'll start with some stats here before I get into why he would be great in a different era. 2-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time MVP, 14-time Pro Bowl, and he's got 3 records that he still holds: most passing touchdowns, most passing yards, most touchdown passes in a game. Again, 5 MVPs. Manning is the NFL's also all-time leader in fourth quarter comebacks. Should have been NFL's MVP in 2011 when he was injured all season. Why? Because the Colts got last place. So clearly he was the best player of the year that season, most valuable player at least, proving how valuable he really was. But yeah, obviously the game has changed constantly. Most quarterbacks just weren't that great back then. They didn't throw as much. They ran more. Stats were lower. It's more of a passing league now. However, there was more of a running game back then. That would have helped Peyton Manning constantly. He would have been in the ranks with Joe Montana, Dan Marino easily. There were also no Ndamukong Suhs back then. So Peyton Manning wouldn't have to deal with guys like that. They were not as gigantic as him. And he's a tough guy. He would have been able to handle the fact that they didn't protect quarterbacks back then. He is an era.
And time. There you've got it. Your take for Indiana's own Peyton Manning. Vote on Blair's take for Peyton Manning playing back in the 80s, or on Kyle's take for Isaiah Thomas playing in the modern NBA today. Vote, and we'll see you next time.